Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition here of the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, week number 80. I'm, of course, your ZvP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Bienvenidos this lovely Saturday afternoon as we are jumping into our first series. Exclamation mark, be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, the bracket is raring and good to go, and we are jumping into the round 16. Round of 16, here we go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of ley lines, we have the red Zurich player, the red Zurich himself, representing Offside Esports. It is Rex. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the pink Protoss player. With the pink Protoss, we have the South Green Protoss. It is Prome. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our initial best of 3. Whew, let's go. Let us go, as we are going to be settling in. And again, we do have initial Zurich versus Protoss matchup. Prome, of course, he is renowned in StarCraft Evolution, in SC Evo. Prome, he's a little bit more active in that kind of scene. He still does play in weeklies like the KSL, or every now and then in a Tuna Cup, every now and then in a War DCV Monday. For the most part, though, his main interest, in my opinion, is, of course, StarCraft Evolution. We'll see how he fares against Rex. Rex, of course, he is, I would say, an ex-pro gamer. Nowadays, he's mainly a content creator and caster. He has made that full switch in a caster and streamer. He has been competing, or I should say practicing and looking to improve a little bit less, and as a result, it's a little bit harder to kind of place Rex. Like, he still does play, he's still an active player in his own way, but again, he's less so focused on like tournament results and less so focused on improving and more so on casting, which he typically does do in this tournament, where he plays until he gets knocked out, then he does step in and does cast. Has been casting quite a lot here, and of course he's still got it. Of course he's arguably the best caster. Sorry, the highest rated caster out there. I think I would probably say that. Like, I'll say better than like Rotterdam, better than like Pig. I think those would be the other, I guess. How good is Koka? I know that Koka is quite good as well. True. I would probably place Rex above Koka. Yeah, but he still got it, man. He still got it. Show us what you got. Let's go. So players are going to be opening up. It is going to be a Stargate opener out of Prome, so standard opener out of our pink Protoss player. Meanwhile, Rex just going hatch gas pool. Going to be joining, going to be saturating. We do have link speed on the way. Does work towards link speed. And pulls out, so everything's looking normal so far. Everything's looking normal. See someone asking in the chat, PTR, if we ever host a tournament on the PTR, it will say so in the title. If it doesn't say so in the title, then assume it is not on the PTR. So no. But that's just like for future reference. So if we're ever going to be, like previously, if we ever do host something on a PTR, anything like that, it will be in the title. For now, this week's KSL is going to be just vanilla on the base game. Base game, of course. Is going to be zoned away. Hero V Classic tourney. You haven't watched KSL before. It's just Hero win tourney. What do you mean? I think he's won like 90% of the KSLs that he signed up for, like in this year. And we do have some heavy hitters to try to face off against him. Here, he's the highest rated player of this tournament, of course. But you have players like Classic, you have players like Trigger, you have players like Yun. Oh, and Prome pulling a Rebellion, rushing to a second Stargate, to a Fleet Beacon. He gets scattered. Yeah, the Overlord goes in. Rex, you will see everything. You see the first, the second Stargate. He does confirm the Fleet Beacon as well. Is where what's going on, and as a result, he should be getting ready back at home as we are rushing into Tempest. Oh my god. So Tempest rush out of Prome. Meanwhile, Rex back at home, at least he's aware of the Fleet Beacon, he's aware of the Stargate, so he can prepare with his own Spire. What I will say though is he has to wait for the lair, right? The lair is still on the way, so we are waiting for the lair to wrap up. Then we can settle into our proper anti-air. Behind this, getting into Queens, we should be getting some safety Spore Crawlers up and running as well. Again, Prome being very spicy with his build, but thankfully Rex is aware, so he has that information. That's the first step. So Rex, he knows, he's getting ready. What do you think about the new patch notes? We're probably going to go more in depth during the podcast. Every single week we do have a SC2 talk show. We have the podcasts. We're probably going to go more in depth there. I guess touching on it, I don't expect most of the changes. There are some, I'll say, more drastic changes that probably won't survive the PTR. Just like last time, they initially announced a bunch of changes, and most likely a lot of that will be changed, will be adapted, and will most likely be different when it goes live eventually. That's the purpose of the PTR, of course. This is also where tournaments, I do think that there's a lot of value in running and hosting as many tournaments as possible on the PTR, or for an add-on, for a mod to be pushed through that actually has the PTR changes into the base game, so we can run tournaments in the base game there instead, using that mod, using the balance mod. And that is going to happen in the coming weeks. As we do have like 2 months. We have around 2 months before it goes live, something like that. My assumption is that it would go live alongside the new map pool, and we all know that the new map pool is coming in November. So I would assume they would come hand in hand. Behind this, Spire's been thrown. I mean, Spire's almost done. Queens, they're holding their own. Remember, the Queens are here just to survive. They're not here to kill. They're here to buy time for the Corruptors. Ooh, but already one Queen does go down. I say one was a two. Yeah, 2 Queens do fall. Where are the Spores? Where the Spores in a bit of an awkward position, trying to intercept. We have more Spores rotating. Queens are going down. The Spores, they're not here in time. And without Spores, the Queens, they go down one after the other. Corruptor production has begun. But this has been a messy defense here from Rex, as every Spore does fall. And Queens are getting picked off. Spore gets picked off. The base will go down. Thankfully, Corruptors will spawn in and will shut this down. But behind this, Prome should be expanding. Ooh. He should be expanding. He's going for a 2-base Stalker all-in. Now, the goal here is that he forces Rex to overextend, to overinvest, is what I meant to say, into Corruptors, right? Corruptors are on the way, and if we make too many Corruptors, then bam, Mass Wing Stalker ends the game. Now, thankfully, Rexy is not neglecting his ground army. Rexy's scouting, he sees no base. Seeing no expansion is a massive tell that this is going to be an all-in. He hasn't seen the Mass Gateway yet. He's not fully aware of what Prome is up to. But thankfully, he is investing into Ling at Roach Ravager. He's played against this before. So Rex, he lost the base, but his economy is not looking too bad in comparison, just because there's no expansion. There's no third. Yep, he confirms. So he sees all the Stalkers, big scout with the Ling, and now he knows not to invest any further into the Corruptors. Just invest purely into Ling Roach Ravager, bearing in mind that Ravagers can also shell away at the Tempest. They can also get piled down. He'll be forcing Micro out of Prome. Gets it away, Biles out. Oh my god, they do graze the army. No major connections. But nice Biles out of Rex. Biling behind the Tempest, forcing them forward. And again, Rex just has to buy some time. Biles, they do graze the Tempest, and then we go 1, 2 Tempests going down, 3 Tempests left. And there should be enough Corruptors. Yeah, there are enough Corruptors. Biles, they force out a blink. Ravagers are going down, and there's too many Stalkers. Yeah, the ground army. The ground army is just far too much here. The Tempest were for the most part dealt with, but the Mass Stalkers too much. And Prome, he breaks through. He breaks through, dives on the army. Boys are being pulled, but it's too late. It's too late. The Roach count has already been whittled away at. Just not enough on the ground. Not enough, Pappy. Not enough. I do think that it would have been possible to pull the boys earlier, just because the boys don't really matter as much. Like, losing drones, just because of how all-in Prome is, would have been viable earlier on. Links on the Roaches. And Rex, he should lose everything here. It's Stalkers, they get on top of the Roaches. It's target firing. Drones now going down. There's 3 Roaches left. 3 Roaches remaining. And it was also really cool to see that, I don't know if you noticed, but the Tempest, they were not attacking the Corruptors. The Tempest, they were target firing the Ravagers specifically as well. Again, knowing that the Tempest will eventually go down, and knowing that the Corruptors would be dead supply, didn't waste any DPS on them. Didn't waste it. Prome is breaking through. Getting to the mineral line. At the same time, Corruptors, they do take down the main base, which is nice and all, but how do we stop this, Pappy? Oh god. How many Stalkers? 26! 26 Stalkers for Prome. And from here, it's going to be the last defense here for Rex. He does pull the final setup, boys. He's on so many already. He's down to, what, down to 21 drones. And they're about to fall here. Whilst they graze the Stalkers. They graze the army somewhat. The Corruptors go for the Nexus. But GG gets called. And Prome, he does take game number 1. GG. Whew. Again, Rex, he was aware of what was going on. He was aware. Unfortunately, you could definitely argue that Rex, he did chase a little bit too much when it came to chasing down the main army. He was a little bit too cavalier. He was bleeding out a lot of Ravagers, as we were pointing out. Props to Prome for recognizing his win condition, for using those Tempests to not waste any DPS on the Corruptors, but to focus as much of their DPS as possible on the Ravagers instead. And when the Tempests eventually went down, I mean, there were no Ravagers remaining. The Stalkers could then overwhelm, and GG. GG, well played with that. Prome does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if Rex can bounce back. We'll see if Prome can clean up the series and take it here and now. Up next, going to be loading into Incorporeal. Let's go. We are going to be loading in. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the red Zerg player. We have the red Zerg player representing Offside Esports. Atlanta, Taiwan. It is Rex. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have as we have the South Green Protoss player. We have the pink Protoss. It is Prome. Here we go. As we're getting to our Zerg versus Protoss. Settling in. Again, we had Prome going for a cheeky build, rushing into Tempest, and then going for a 2-base Stalker all-in. I don't expect to see the same build here, but I expect to see something quirky nonetheless. Show us a spicy build, Pappy. Let's go. From here, we can go for a Twilight Council opener. We can go for a Robo, rush into charge, get into a higher mortal count. Where are you taking us? Again, a lot of options. A lot of options for the Protoss. And it's up to Rex to scout, to confirm, to react. And to hopefully not be overconfident with this play either. Fully. As we're waiting for the Cybercore, then we'll get into our tech of choice. Likewise, we're going to Incorporeal. Incorporeal is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Because this map is so large, this is where if we did get into the mid-game, something like Spire tech and Spire play is going to be viable for Rex. If we can get there, of course. Like, our eyes are still going to be on Prome when it comes to his early game aggression. Twilight Council is done. Pylon is thrown down next to the Gas Geyser. We'll see if it's going to be a Stargate or a Twilight Council. It's going to be the Robo. Okay. This was one of the many options that Prome did have available. So going for a Robo opener leads towards early mortar production, leads into sentries, leads into potentially a Soul Train. Just mass sentry, mass immortal, 2-base all in is something we're going to be keeping our eye on. Oh boy. And it's on Rex here to confirm what's happening. Does move out with another Overlord. Skirting around the left hand side. Likewise, getting Ling speed, pulling for the most part out of gas, for the most part. As there's immortal production, there's essential production. As you mentioned, like, this should be a soul train. This should be just a 2-base all-in with mass immortal, mass sentry. The reason why this can work wonders is that this early on, if the Ravager count is low, then force fields can completely slice up an army, and this all-in can hit very, very hard. Now, thankfully, we do have a Roach Warren on the way, so it's safety Roach Warren timing here at Rex. Rexy recognizes something is wrong. We can see that the Stalker does zone away the Overlord, and the other Overlord does not quite get all the way in either, so limited vision, limited scouting out of Rex. Thankfully, though, he should be starting a Roach production soon. Is he cutting workers too early, though? He's making 14 Lings. Ooh, on the one hand, yes, you do need an army, that is true, but on the other hand, when you're up against an all-in, you have to drone up as much as possible early on to get up to, what, 40, 45 drones. I would be more comfortable with around, yeah, 40 to 45. Then you can afford the army. If you cut workers too soon, then you won't actually be able to build up a large enough force to defend. So there's, again, a thin kind of line you have to walk here when it comes to when to cut workers, when not to, when to produce an army, when not to either. So we'll see if Rex can keep up supply-wise with his opponent, as Prome is about to move out. Yeah, for example, you can see now Rex is droning. You can see here 3 drones on the way. Those 3 drones should have been thrown down earlier. Right? It's like we should have started those earlier, and then we could have delayed the Lings and Roaches. Then those workers would already be mining at the moment. They'd be mining right now, and you'd be gaining more benefits from those workers if they were made early on. Rex does move out. And we'll see who strikes who first. Like, Rex, he has been amassing a massive army. Essentially, Rex is going for an all-in himself. You know, he doesn't saturate the third at all. So 0 saturation at the third base. Rex going for his own Ling Roach all-in. Up against the Soul Train here of Prome, going for the chargeless move outs, going for the slow lot all in. Ling is going to force a defensive warp in. There it is. That episode warped in back at home. Nice cancellation. Very, very nice. Very smooth. It's cancelled as move outs. Army's moving in. Rex, he has been amassing purely army this entire time. The Queens are already on the high ground. And here comes the surround. We have force fields. Very nice. Adepts are going to get surrounded. Never mind, they do hold their own. Link's having a hard time engaging. And Immortals, they're getting on top of the Roaches. Files do not connect. Lings are coming from behind. They're getting on top of the Immortals. Yeah, nice around, and Rex, he holds. He does completely shut down this all-in. The Lynx round was crucial. And with this all-in crumbling, there's nothing left. There's nothing here. Again, so important that the Lings, they got on top of the Immortals. It meant the Immortals, they could not actually DPS down the Roaches. And Prome, he's running out of steam. Steam, running out of army. The longer this game goes on, the better it's going to be for Rex. As Rex, he's just pushing. Yeah, he's just going for the kill. He's going for the kill. He's not droning. He's not droning, not saturating. Just massing up his army and sending it across the map. As Rex, he has built up. He's checking for a third. Wise move. I mean, basically, there's nothing pressuring Rex to actually push in. Unless Prome expands. If Prome starts to expand, then Rex can punish. But for now, Rex, now he's starting to drone up. Once again, it's one of those things where the drones could have been done a little bit earlier here. Because here comes Prome's army, and right now is when we need Rex to just double down on purely Ling Roach Ravager. Need to build up. From here, we're building up the Ling Bane. Prome is going for his second wave, his second all-in. But again, this time it's much weaker. It's just a weaker all-in this time. Enough time has passed that Rex, he's got so many Banelings. How many sentries? 0. No. I was going to say that with good enough force fields, then Prome can maybe take a fight, but the reality is that there are no sentries, no force fields. Miles 2 zone away. Bane crashing into the slow lots, and without the slow lots, there's nothing to protect that. The Immortals! The Immortals are exposed! Banelings are rolling in. Biles 2 on the Prism. Prism does not go down, not quite. But again, there's plenty of just army on the ground. Plenty here for Rex. Rex, he will overwhelm, he will swarm. And GG gets called. Rex ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. We're going to the ace match. We're going all the way to game 3. Again, we saw a cheeky build here by Prome going for the Robo opener, but Rex was playing safe. He didn't scout the Robo. He didn't know exactly what Prome was up to, but he was getting ready to defend against an all-in nonetheless. I do still feel like Rex could have drawn up a little bit harder earlier to have a cleaner defense, but regardless, he did hold on, didn't lose any bases, didn't lose any workers, and Rex snowballed from there. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're getting into the ace match, and we'll see how the story ends, as game 3 is going to be on Tokamak. Let's go. And we'll see what Prome goes for this time. So in game 1, we saw 2 gates at Tempest Rush. We saw into a 2-base all-in. Game 2, we saw a Robo opener into a quote-unquote Soul Train-esque kind of all-in on 2 bases with Immortal, Sentry, Slow Lot. Game 3, what haven't we seen yet? We haven't seen Glaive Adepts. Blink-based all-ins are quite rare. So we could see Glaives. Could see Robo opener into a Bay. It's something crazy like that. So this morning, in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Taiwanese Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Offside Esports. It is Rex. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the pink Protoss player, the South Korean Protoss. It is Prome. Go. Players are building up. From here, once again, we're going to be keeping an eye on our Protoss player to see what tech he goes into. We've seen nothing but all-ins out of Prome, and we're expecting, again, another all-in here. Despite the fact that we are loading into a larger map, right? Welcome to Tokamak. Tokamak is known for defensive play. Tokamak is known for being able to more easily set up on 4 and 5 bases. It can be very difficult to break a defending player, but yeah, as a result, an all-in here from Prome is going to be a little bit weaker. But I still feel like he's going to go for it. Let's go. So far, we're getting into our cyber core, getting into our tech of choice. And it is going to be a Stargate opener. Okay. Everything is looking normal so far. Joe, do we play standard? Again, this would be the map to play standard on. Just play standard, get your Stargate opener, Oracle into a third base, and just defend on 3 bases, get a 4th base, and then max out. Would be the go-to. Yes, from here, we're going back to what we went for last time. Potentially. So this time, Stargate opener into a Fleet Beacon into a early Void Ray this time. Now, obviously, the goal of the Void Ray is to do what? Is to hunt down the Overlords. To hunt down the Overlords to deny the Scouts, and to delay Rex from really figuring out what is going on. We could go into a Tempest Rush again, or we could go for a Carrier Rush. True, that's also an option. Oh, okay, Fleet Beacon into a Forge. That is interesting. Earlier Forge, earlier +1. Once again, are we going singular Stargate into singular Tempest into BAM into a switch into Massblink Stalker? That should be the go-to here. This is a build that Classic did popularize, what, 2 years ago at this point? Oh, never mind. Rushing to the mothership. Okay. Now, what Classic does with this is you make a Tempest, you reveal the Tempest, you force a reaction into a Spire, into a Lair, and then because it's only one Stargate, you switch into Massblink Stalker, and it's very similar to Game 1, but it hits faster, right? It hits faster, it hits earlier, as you're investing less into the Tempest because it's only one Stargate. Here, instead, we have a Mothership Rush into a mass ground army into what should be a recall across the map. Now, this is a build that we saw rise in popularity, Jesus, like 3-4 years ago. If you remember, there used to be a build where you would go for this. I think it'd be on 3 bases, not 2. But you'd build up on 3 bases, rush into a mothership, then you'd recall into the main base of your opponents, and then force field the ramp. And you'd force field, then you'd end the game. I remember visually what the map looked like, but I can't remember what it was called. But it was in the Cosmic Sapphire map pool, I believe. So I'm pretty sure I remember seeing this on Cosmic Sapphire. Yeah, we saw this on Cosmic, 100%. And there were other maps kind of in that era where you could do this on. As the Tempest does hug the edge. Rex, he's building, he's got his lair, building up his roaches. No Spire yet. Which means he's fixated on his ground army, which is a good thing. Now, without any Ravagers here, that force field is going to be brutal. We can always morph in Ravagers, but I believe the main base should die. The Void Ray does make sure there's no scouting Overlord. It's going to be a lot of sentries, a lot of force fields. And we're going for it. And we send it into the main. Here comes a mothership. Here comes a recall. Huh. Mass recall. Dives into the main base. The army's in position. Rex is here. Yeah, Rex is in position. And he will completely shut this down. He's got his spores. Biles, they will connect. And with all the spores, there is detection. The mothership cloak does nothing. The cloak does nothing. GG gets called. Rex, he was waiting in the main base. He was not in the natural. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations with that. Oh, with that, Rex will claim it. Sorry, I switched to the wrong scene. But GG, well played. Congratulations, Rex. He will claim the series. He will advance on to the next round. And where is he leading us? Shout out to Prome, by the way. Really fun matches, really fun series, going for some quirky builds and different all-ins every single game. Going for 2-base Tempest into a Mass Blink Stalker 2-base all-in in game 1, seeing the Soul Train Slow Lot all-in in game number 2, and here seeing the Mothership Rush in game number 3. So 3 different all-ins. Congratulations. In the end does fall, but shout out to Rex. And we do have some more updates here. Hero does take down Rebellion. Heroes waiting in the semifinals, waiting for the winner of Trigger and Percival. Meanwhile, we have a Classic versus Rex. That's going to be our next series, and we have Beyond versus Greenert. We're going to be going on a very short break, and when we come back, we will have the next series. We will have a Classic versus Rex right around the corner for our next best of 3.